Morning, brethren. We come to our final study in this little section of Philippians for our daily devotions. Paul has told them that they are to strive together for the sake of the gospel. They're to be united. He says that they are to put their whole being into it, to strive to see the gospel going forward. He also then goes on and he says this: without being frightened in any way by those who oppose you. So not only do we need united effort, we also need undaunted courage. The natural human reaction in the midst of opposition and persecution and mockery and ridicule is often fear. Paul urges the believers in Philippi to be courageous in the midst of what they're having to face. Don't be frightened in any way, he says, by those who oppose you. The word that he uses here, translated frightened, is a word that was used of a horse who would suddenly bolt as a result of being startled or being afraid. Paul says, don't let the threats, don't let the taunts, don't let the opposition you face cause you to run for cover, cause you to bolt, so to speak. Stand up for the gospel. Be courageous. Courage isn't the lack of fear. Courage is doing what you know is right, despite a sense of fear. He goes on to say that their courageous stand for the gospel will be a sign that will confirm for them that they are indeed the people of God, and it will be a sign for destruction for their enemies. And you can understand what he means there. The fact that you're able to stand up despite opposition, despite mockery, despite people making fun of you, you're able to stand firm in your faith. That is proof positive that you are indeed saved, that God has worked in your heart and has given you a new heart. What a wonderful encouragement each time we are able to stand up and stand firm. It's proof that we belong to Christ. It's also proof, says Paul, that those who are opposing you are bound for destruction. The very fact that they're opposing you shows that they have no time for the gospel, shows that at this point in their lives anyway, they are enemies of Christ. And if they continue like that, and if they don't get saved, then all the enemies of Christ ultimately will be destroyed. They will come under the judgment of God. Now, it took courage to live as a Christian in the 1st century AD. It takes courage to live as a Christian in the 21st century AD. It's not easy, and especially if you are living a godly, holy life, a life that is obviously to others a life different from the ways of the world. The more holy a person's life is, the more opposition they're likely to face in all its different forms. And when you're living such a life and experiencing opposition, we must courageously take a stand. May God grant that we as Christians would live such a life and that we would have such courage to stand against any and every form of opposition that we meet for the sake of Christ. Have a blessed day.